Yeah, definitely. I mean, these teams are very evenly matched, ranked first and third coming into this, so it's going to be a really, really tight match.
Well, it's time for the team announcements.
En la diana número 1, representando a Estados Unidos de América, Linda Ochoa Anderson, Pierce Perry, Alexis Ruiz. En la diana número 2, representando a México, Andrea Becerra, Esmeralda Sánchez y Margarita Valencia.
Well, there we have it, the teams being announced out to, well, I was going to say to the crowd here in Guatemala, but due to the restrictions that we've all become very used to, there is no crowd out there. But as you can see, the venue looks dressed as though there would be a big crowd. It is a strong USA team. World number 1, Alexis Ruiz, and world number 3, Paige Pierce, in the lineup for the USA, along with Linda Ochoa Anderson. And it's a young and feisty Mexican team, Andrea Becerra, Esmeralda Sanchez and Margarita Valencia. It's Becerra with the highest world seed in the Mexican team, ranked number 22 in the world. But it will be the USA team who will shoot first. As you can see, 3 members to the team. Each will shoot 2 arrows in each of the 4 ends. And we work on an accumulative score in compound archery, and you can see the marked lines on the shooting line. Next archer is not allowed to step over that line until the previous archer has finished shooting and stepped back over it. So here we go. It's time to go for gold in the compound women's team.
9, 9.
Línea del 10.
Good start from the Americans. The Americans will each shoot their first arrows, all 3, and then we will switch over to target 2 for the first 3 arrows from the Mexicans. So marked up as a 29 for the USA. Solid start, Nikki.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly how they wanted to open up. Straight dialed in off the practice range and into the competition. Quite a long hold there. I mean, they're only getting 20 seconds each in this team round to shoot, so you know that's going to take up quite a lot of their time in this minute. They can spread that time over the you're going to shoot 1 arrow each, and then they're going to switch back to the American team. That's going to make a bit more pressure in the second half.
A long hold and a bit of a grimace there. That's definitely skipped into the 8. So 26 halfway through for the Mexicans. As you said, Nikki, the Americans looking at dialed in as we look at Ochoa Anderson's second shot.
You can see that they had, you know, a decent amount of time left. I mean, it can be interesting to see what the Mexicans got left, because they really did use up a lot of that first minute and over, I would imagine. The Americans just looked that bit more kind of, you know, relaxed, they're experienced, they know what they're doing out here.
Yes.
Well, you said they were dialed in with their first 3. These first 2 have gone right into the X ring. And as you say, Nikki, plenty of time for the world number 1 here. on for a 59 if Alexis Ruiz can get a 10. And she does.
That's exactly how you want to open up, isn't it? Just put the pressure on the other team.
Well, let's see how much time the Mexicans have left. On the shooting line, we need to look down the range.
Oh, that's just on the line as well. Not quite sure if that'll be in or out. Might need to wait for a measure on that one as well. They've really got to speed themselves up here. I'm just worried for them on the clock. That was faster and much nearer the closer to the middle. Again, perhaps another measure needed.
So already down inside 10 seconds to go. You can hear the countdown from the coach. Gets it out in time, and that's a good arrow as well. But the Mexicans looking on a soon-to-be confirmed 53, we think. Nikki, great start from the Americans and what we can expect. But look, the Mexicans came through Colombia. They're a tough team to beat. Is this a bit of stage fright, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Colombia are great, and to come through and beat them on the way, that's got to give you some confidence. But, you know, we're on the big stage here in the finals. I think there's a different pressure associated when it's just you and the other team here now. So, you know, these guys just haven't experienced that so much. And they've just come out. They've been a little bit slow to get the shots off. They're just holding a little bit too long at full draw. We want to see that nice timing, that nice rhythm each shot. I mean, the Americans definitely showed us that.
Yeah, looking very solid there. Just caught Joe Anderson's shot, and that was the world number 1. Mexicans, well, you can even see a little bit of shakiness in the drawing hand from the Mexicans. Paige Pierce getting off her second arrow. All three of the Americans in the 10s in the second half of that first end. Cumulative score, Nikki, as well, 59-53, subject to confirmation. That's already a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that is a bit of a lead already for USA. We know they're strong, so, you know, Mexico really have got to put the pressure on here. They're going to be shooting first. We want to see them straight into the 10, put that pressure right back on the USA.
USA looking very relaxed as the scores are being confirmed.
Yeah, there's some quite close arrows in here, so we've got to wait for these confirmations of scores here.
Can't quite hear the target judge. We did try and give him a listen, but couldn't quite hear what was being said then. Look, let's get the elephant out of the room. 18 months since the last Hyundai Archery World Cup Series final, in fact, in Moscow. It's been a long wait. World Archery have innovated and done a lot of remote events, but this is the very first proper international. How much pressure is on these athletes, not just because of the long pause, but they have to wear masks when they're not shooting and all the COVID regulations.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can do lots in practice, but you just can't really recreate the pressure that brings in competition. So, you know, it is interesting to see these guys back out there on the line with cameras in their face and that pressure on them. So, you know, this is the real test now.
Yeah, and testament to the Guatemalan, the Republic of Guatemala and the Archery Federation there, and of course World Archery as well, showing the flexibility required to put on this event with all the health and safety regulations in place. It's been an amazing wait, and it's an amazing job done by all those concerned to make this happen. We are definitely back to archery. USA leading here in the compound women's team finals. We are still waiting for confirmation of the scores, but it's definitely going to be Mexico who will shoot first. It's time for end number 2.
So Mexico really got to open up much stronger now, put that pressure back on the USA. Had the first end to get those nerves out the way to see if they can just settle down. Drop the first one. Constantly talking to each other within the team. You know, it's important, that information that's going between them.
Yeah, the flow of conversation in team matches is much more than in an individual, that's for sure. Mexicans, though, they have upped the intensity, have upped the pace.
Yeah, the timing's better, isn't it? You know, they're communicating, they're talking well. There's not much difference happening on the range there in terms of conditions, I don't think, but, you know, that was a better end from them.
So USA, commanding lead. Joe Anderson with a 10.
12 o'clock.
They just look super relaxed, don't they? You know, they're out there on their field and straight in a 10.
Yes. 9 o'clock on the line.
Slightly longer hold, but again, straight in there, so it's impressive.
On Lex.
Lots of communication, pretty relaxed.
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect 30.
So, Nikki, I get a chance to ask you a real intimate archery question here. Why did Alexis Ruiz, the world #1, grimace on that shot? She scored a 10. It was pretty close to the centre. What's the grimace all for?
She might just have felt that she just wasn't quite on the centre when it went off. So what you last see as a compounder, as that shot breaks, it pretty much goes there. So she just might have felt, you know, it wasn't quite exactly where she wanted it to be, and you know, but it was still good enough to be a 10.
Perfectionists. That's what we see from these archers. They want to not only shoot the perfect score, but they want to execute each shot perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, with compound here, we're shooting 50 metres, we're on an 80 centimetre face, but we've really got to see 10s every shot. You know, it's that kind of level, it's that kind of pressure. You've got to go out there and really be shooting 10s all the time at this level.
There's 2 10s to finish for the Mexicans. Puts them on 111. Nothing much really to measure there, so we're back to the USA and their final 3 arrows. Ochoa Anderson up first again.
Just off.
Obviously she wasn't happy with that, just came out to the right a little bit. Slightly longer hold, but you know, nothing particularly too bad on that shot. But
Yes.
back in the 10 again, that's just what they needed there.
Watch the clock for him.
Just a note to watch the clock. Didn't look like the Americans were particularly slow in their first 3 arrows, but that was a quick shot
Yeah.
there, and another 59 for the USA. So by my reckoning, they're on 118, and the lead has opened up by another point.
Yeah, I mean the timing is so tight with compounds. You know, they take a little bit longer to get up to full draw, to settle down. You know, 20 seconds on that team round. You've got to get off the line, be clear of it before your teammate comes back over the line again. So the time pressure is a bit higher. With recurve, what we'll see tomorrow, you know, it's generally they're quicker shots, so the time pressure isn't as intense.
We're going to take a look back at the Mexicans, who performed much better in the second end than they did in the first. Nervous through the first, and solid performance from all 3 of the Americans, in particular Paige Pierce and the world #1 there, Alexis Ruiz, who haven't shot outside the 10 ring so far in this match. Big challenge for the Mexicans.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's never over till it's over. They've just got to keep going. They've just got to keep themselves calm in that normal space, and just hope that something else happens on the other side of the range. They can't control that. They can only control, you know, what they're doing each and every shot. So stick to their normal routines.
Well, it will be Mexico to shoot first in end number 3. They are trailing by 7 points by our calculations. We are, of course, waiting for that confirmation, but a much more confident Mexico.
You could see it on their t-shirt there, though, couldn't you? You could see it getting a little bit blown around. So I wonder if there is a little factor there that we can't see as such. But yeah, another 9.
You see that big countdown clock in the green background on the USA's scoring board. 120 seconds to start with now. There is a potential opening. Linda Ochoa Anderson into the 8. She's shot 2.9 so far. That is the lowest arrow from the USA in this gold medal match.
Interesting that they've just both moved out of the 10 now, so both a little bit low. We saw the Mexicans go high though, so there doesn't seem to be, consistency of why this is happening. More archer related, perhaps. Solid from Page back in the 10.
Just a touch. Yeah, I know. It's kind of now it's top.
So in this team format, would one team react to the other? Would the Americans have seen the Mexicans shooting high in their first 3 arrows and adjust?
Sometimes the coach will give you that information, so the coach is there behind them. They can give factors like that. That the coach is looking around to see what's going on. The archers are very much looking at the targets. They're, in their zone. So that could have been a bit of information that the coach gave, and perhaps, they might have moved their sights. So it's a possibility. I think the arrow just fell off the rest there. You can see her just popping it back on with her fingers at the front of the bow.
Solid. So 56. Now you can see the wind is just jumping around a little bit. It's dropped down, but now it's pointing or coming at them rather than from behind them. And look, that's a second 8 in this end from Linda Ochoa Anderson.
She just seemed to lose her confidence, didn't she? After that first shot, you could see visibly she was unhappy with it and went back on again, not confident what to do. So I think they're just struggling to read perhaps the conditions here.
Moving.
So repeat for Paige Pierce as well. 2 9s from her in this end. Ruiz seems to have stepped up to wear the captain's armband in this women's team, and that's why.
They needed that 10, didn't they? Just to really seal that lead. I mean, if she dropped another 8 possibly in there, it really would have opened things up. So it was a bit of pressure down that last shot just to make sure they maintained a decent lead here into the last end.
Yeah, great shooting. Now, on the point of Alexis Ruiz, she's really pre-pandemic, she'd really sort of started to step up and really not only was getting medals but on a consistent basis, and she now does seem to be the captain of the team. She seems to be the solid, reliable go-to archer. Yeah,
I mean, she's world number 1 right now. She's the most relevant, up-to-date archer there. I mean, Linda Ochoa has been a fantastic archer in her time. I think she was at world number 2 at her best. But yeah, Ruiz is like you say, she's leading, she's being confident. We're going to see her later on this afternoon, so she's just top of her game right now.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, let's not forget Paige Pierce is the world number 3, so 1 and 3 in the USA team. Linda Ochoa Anderson all the way down at 28 in the world, a remarkable 28 in the world. But as you say, she's been around a while, 34 years old, whereas Ruiz is 21 and Pierce is 26. But still a very strong unit. But this young Mexican team, the opportunity is afforded themselves. They've beaten Colombia to get here, and now, look, a tough ask against the USA, but they're still putting in a good performance and a solid performance, and the experience of being on the podium range, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're just slow to start off. They've kind of maintained themselves now. They've just got to keep going. Again, they're going to shoot first in this last end, so got to put the pressure on. There's a little bit of tension happening over there in the USA. Can they really put the pressure on? So knock them off a little bit and try and build this gap back up.
Yeah. Well, it's time for end number 4. Five-point swing, a lot to ask for. Just holding on to the 9 ring.
Yeah, she just didn't look happy as soon as that went off. She's a little bit unsure of it. That's what they needed there. Nice solid 10. Can they back it up with the final one? I like that the nail varnish matches the bow colour. I mean, that's impressive in itself. Struggling a bit there. I don't know how much wind we're getting in this stadium. I think they've got like a wall right behind them, so whether we're getting a bit of wind that kind of swirls inward around them, I don't know. This is the thing, when they build up a stadium like this, you do get like channels which can affect them.
Yeah, it's temporary banners going up all over the place, but with gaps in between them creating eddies, I'm sure, throughout the venue, but you can definitely see the wind moving around a little bit. Ochoa Anderson with a 9. Now 29 for Mexico in their first 3. Paige Pierce shot 2 9s in the third end. Is she going to get back into the 10 ring?
Yes, she does. Nice and solid. They're looking happier again now, aren't they, as a team? You can just see the dynamics again.
Very calm process that Rue's going through as well. Very relaxed. And, you know, not that I'm any kind of expert, but it looks like Rue's bow is very unfussy. You don't, on some of the bows you see lots of accoutrements. Like this one here, there seems to be a lot more on that bow.
I mean, all the compound competitors will have the same elements on that bow. You know, they've got different colours and things they pop on there, but essentially they're all shooting with a magnified scope at the front, and they've got a peep sight in the back of the string, so it's more like a gun with these compounders. You know, it's much more kind of high level, really. That's why we expect them to be shooting 10s. They've got a mechanical release aid as well, rather than the recurvers are shooting on their fingers. And that's why these guys are shooting on a smaller target face.
Lovely shot there. But the accumulative score is perhaps not as forgiving as the set system that is used in recurve archery. And is that the reason why? Because they have these mechanical aids and they're expected to shoot higher scores all the time?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we always do see higher scores of the compound. I think Mexico there finished that 10. They were really happy with how they performed. They know that's probably not enough, but, you know, young team, they've come out on the stage, they've got that experience now, and they'll take that with them to further World Cups.
Pierce here with her final arrow into the 10. And, well, as you can all see, a 5 required to win. Ruiz hasn't shot outside the 10 ring in this match so far. A record that she couldn't quite keep to the end, but a 9 was more than enough, and a 2-2-9 for the USA sees them take gold here in Guatemala. They were always going to be the favourites, the USA. A good performance from the Mexicans, perhaps a stronger scoreline for the USA just because of that very first end from Mexico.
Yeah, they trailed early on. They just couldn't really keep up after that. But it was great to see them out here. I thought it would be tighter. On paper, the Mexicans came in having beaten Colombia, but I think like I said before, just being on that world stage in front of everybody, with the cameras rolling, I think sometimes that just adds that extra bit of pressure. And younger team, it's some of their first outings on this big stage, so they'll learn from that. It's a really good place to be, and like as an individual coming out as a team and shooting together and having this kind of camaraderie and conversations going on, that is great experience for you as an individual as well.
Yeah, fantastic from Mexico, but confirmation that the USA have taken stage 1 of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Guatemala City in the compound women's team event. A beautiful performance from them. It's been a fantastic event for Mexico, who took out Colombia, a surprise win for them in the semi-finals, shooting a 2-2-9 against the Colombian team. fabulous silver medal for Mexico, and it was Colombia who went on to take the bronze medal.